Hello and Namaskar. Welcome to another session of BW for HANA Tidbits, where I share some of my knowledge and experience. My name is Debanshu Mukherjee, and today I'm going to discuss what the heck is all about. Well, friends, don't get me wrong. HEC stands for HANA Enterprise Cloud. So these terminologies, HEC, HCP, SCP, CPI, what do they really mean? And what's this fuzz around public cloud, private cloud, and hybrid cloud? Well, let's shed some light of knowledge on these cloudy entities. Alright, so before we delve into these terminologies, let's first look at what is a cloud. Well, cloud is something which we have been dealing with since our childhood, when we used to look up at that sky and those clouds and expect rain. And then we grew up to become an IT professional, and again we have to deal with cloud. So let's see what a cloud is from an IT standpoint. Cloud is a name given to a data center or multiple data centers connected via a network. And what is a data center? A data center is made up of hundreds of servers or computers providing compute power and storage resources. And what makes these connected computers or connected data centers a cloud is that all of them are presented as one big pool of shared resources, or we can say one big computer, which can be accessed over the web from anywhere and via any device. That's the flexibility. And these data centers are managed by external vendors such as Microsoft, Azure, Google Cloud Platform, and Amazon Web Service. So a data center with all those servers connected via a network looks something like this. Alright, so now let's look at the different components which we can offload or rent on the cloud. Whenever you basically buy a cloud-based solution or subscribe to a cloud-based solution, that means that you are delegating the responsibility to somebody else. And that somebody else is your external vendor. Now we can offload or rent different components of our IT setup, and based on what we offload, we give different names to it. So let's look at the different components first, and then we will look at the different naming terminology given to that. Also, to make it a little bit easier, let's look at the example of MS Office to Google Documents. Alright, so the first component is your infrastructure. This is basically your hardware and data center related. Then comes your platform, and finally comes your software. So these are the three primary components of your entire IT setup. Now in the infrastructure, we have the data center and the hardware, as I mentioned earlier, which is SSDs, CPUs, and memory. And of course, if you are taking care of it all, then you have your hardware and maintenance cost. Then comes the platform, which entails operating system and database, and your APIs and your runtimes, etc. Of course, it also has to be installed, and the upgrade costs and the upgrade hassles you have to take care if you are taking care of the platform. And finally, the software, which is like MS Office software, you have the licensing cost and the upgrade costs. You have to take care of that if you are doing it the conventional way. Now every component, all the three components, if you are taking care of it or the customer is taking care of it, we call it on-premise systems. So that means it's completely under customer's control, and they have to take care of all the three components. On the other hand, if we look at the cloud-based solution, we have the infra rented out, we can have the platform also rented out, and we can have the software also rented out. So infra, if you rent it out, that means you don't have any installation or maintenance hassle associated with it. Of course, you have to pay, but that payment is also subscription based, so it is optimized. Then you have your platform, which is your operating system. Again, if the vendor is taking care of that, then you don't need any installation or maintenance. And finally, the software, for example, Google Sheets, no installation, no maintenance is required. You just go to your browser and then you access it via a URL and do all your work on the web. Please note that the data is still owned by the customer, meaning you are still responsible to create the data on the Google Sheet, so you still own the data. So as you can see, we can rent out all the three components to the cloud, and this is called cloud-based solution. Now, what are the benefits of cloud-based solution? Well, the biggest one is cost reduction. Of course, you don't have to maintain any hardware, data centers, networks, and anything like that on your premise. Everything is hosted on the data centers, which is taken care of by the third-party vendors. So huge cost reduction. Then you can access it anywhere. You don't need to be in office to access your infrastructure or your software. You can access it via your computer, you can access it via your mobile device, you can access it via your iPad, and anywhere from your home or from your office or from anywhere else. Then you have scalability. So say for example, you need more resources, the demand is increasing, the users are increasing. So if it is on the cloud, it can be very easily scaled. Then connectivity. So if you have other solutions which are on premise or other software solutions, applications which are on cloud, you can very easily connect that to your cloud solutions. Collaboration. So social media, you can connect your social media very easily to your cloud-based application, because social media is also cloud-based. It's on the web, so it's very easy to connect your application to the social collaboration. Then we have upgrades. You don't need to worry about it. The cloud providers or the vendors will take care of the upgrades. Pay as you go. Well, I was talking about cost reduction, and this is also one of the ways, which is called subscription based. So if you use it for 10 hours, you just pay for 10 hours. You don't need to pay for the time when you're not using it. Availability. So it is up all the time. Okay, there is no downtime, and if there is a downtime, it is very minimal. It is completely taken care by the external vendors, and they are responsible for it. So you have your maximum uptime available. And then security. Also, these cloud providers are responsible to maintain security and to keep your data secure. Of course, there is a lot of discussions and arguments against cloud because of this security aspect, but gradually the security is becoming more robust and trustable. Alright, with all those benefits, now let's look at the components from SAP standpoint. So let's look at the components again. We have the infra, we have the platform, and we have the software. Infra contains servers, the data centers, and the network. The platform will have the OSDB, security, your connectivity, runtimes, and integration, APIs as well. And finally, we have the software, which are S4HANA, the ERP software, Ariba for procurement, Concur for travel and expense, and SuccessFactors for HR, to name a few. Now, based on what you offload to the cloud provider, we give it a different name. So if you take care of all the three components, then it is called on-premise model. And if you just give the infrastructure to the cloud provider, it's called IaaS, infrastructure as a service, meaning your cloud providers will maintain the servers, the data centers, and the networks. So the infrastructure will be taken care by them. Then if you also offload platform, so infra plus platform, then the operating system, database, the APIs, the different integration aspects, runtimes, etc. will also be taken care by your cloud provider. And then if you also rent out or offload the software part of it, meaning you have the S4HANA already configured from the cloud provider and other applications configured from the cloud providers, then it is called SaaS model, SaaS, software as a service, meaning all the three components will be taken care by the cloud providers. But you are still the owner of the data. That means you are still responsible to go and create the data on that application. But after that, everything is being taken care by the vendors. And then we finally also have the hybrid model, where some of the applications are kept on premise and other applications are kept on cloud. So we'll look into that one by one. Okay, so let's first look at the IaaS service, which is infrastructure as a service. So amongst the three components, infra, platform and software, we are just offloading the infra part of it, meaning the servers, the data centers and the network is given to the cloud provider to manage, and the platform and the software part of it, we as a customer are supposed to manage. So SAP's IaaS solution is HEC, HANA Enterprise Cloud. Technically, it's a blend of IaaS and PaaS because in HEC, the only database which you can use is HANA DB. SAP owns the operating system and the DB tasks, and also owns the backup, starting and stopping, which is basically a part of platform services. So that's why it is a combination or a blend of IaaS and PaaS. And also upgrades and updates are taken care by SAP. But if we are asked to categorize HEC, HEC will be SAP's IaaS solution. Now let's look at the PaaS, platform as a service. So amongst the three components, now in addition to infra, you are also offloading the platform part of it. But software, you are still taking care of it. So that means the servers and the hardware part, plus your operating system, DB, APIs, runtime integration, etc. part, both are now taken care by the cloud service provider. And the software part, you as a customer still have to manage and administer. So SAP's popular PaaS solutions are SAP Cloud Platform, right? SCP, that is one of the most popular PaaS solution, platform as a service solution from SAP. And its former name was HCP, HANA Cloud Platform. So the only difference between HCP and SCP is the naming terminology, naming convention. Previously it was known as HCP, now it is known as SCP. It's an open source microservices based platform which can support multiple languages like Node.js or Python or JavaScript, etc. It also provides integration with your on-premise systems as well as your cloud systems. And the integration part of the service is known as CPI, Cloud Platform Integration. So CPI is nothing but one of the services including as part of SCP and the integration services. CPI includes the integration APIs and the integration services which connect your on-premise and your cloud applications. Then it also provides a bunch of APIs and runtimes to support your native application development. Also provides innovative technologies or state-of-the-art technologies like IoT, machine learning, AI and analytics. And also you don't need to just run it on SAP data centers. If you already have a data center rented out with Amazon or Google or Microsoft, you can run the SCP on these data centers as well. That means it supports AWS, GCP and Microsoft. And in future, it will also support more cloud providers. So as you can see, this is popular because of its openness, because of its flexibility and because of its integration aspects. Now comes the SaaS, the software as a service. So now all the three components have been offloaded or rented out to the cloud service providers, meaning you don't have to take care of your data centers or the hardware, you don't have to maintain the platform, the OSDB, etc. And you also don't have to manage or install your software. So everything is maintained by your cloud service provider. Again, I'm reiterating this point. The data still is owned by the customer, meaning you still have to go and create the data. So a typical example of SaaS, which is non-SAP, is Microsoft Office 365. So everything is there on the web. You just have to buy the subscription and then start using and creating your documents. SAP SaaS solutions include Ariba for procurement, Concur travel and expense, SuccessFactors for HR, SAC, which is SAP Analytics Cloud, which is the analytics services or the product from SAP, Data Warehousing Cloud, and C for HANA, which is the CRM for HANA. So these are some of the popular SaaS solutions from SAP. Of course, if they are from SAP, they will have a Fiori interface and they will run entirely on the web. SAP also offers Cloud ERP as SaaS, meaning you can have an entire ERP, the core ERP functionality as a SaaS. Now it comes in 3 flavors. First is SAP Business One for smaller enterprises, SAP Business by Design for mid-size enterprises, and S/4HANA Cloud for larger enterprises. So let's look at them quickly. In case of S/4HANA Cloud, there are 2 possible options. First is public cloud, which is also called multi-tenant. So here you have less control over it, and SAP will do most of the administration and management. So you will not have access to the GUI and no access to create custom ABAP reports. The second option is your private cloud, which is a single tenant option where you have more control over it. So you will have access to GUI, you will have access to create custom ABAP reports. However, you will not have access to create either objects, custom objects, or to change the standard SAP objects. So there are some restrictions, but compared to the public cloud, the multi-tenant option, you will have more control. So that completes our 3 musketeers, the IaaS, PaaS, and the SaaS. And now look at one final option or one final model, which is called the hybrid model, meaning you have the on-premise and your cloud. So many customers, they like this because of its flexibility and choice, meaning they can keep their core primary mission critical applications such as S/4HANA, right, on-premise. They can keep it on-premise because they want the full control of customization and full control of the modification capabilities. So they want to keep it completely under control of the customer. That's why they go for on-premise. And sometimes also these systems, they have some data movement constraints. That means the location of the data, the primary data, cannot change. It cannot cross the country boundary. And those are the reasons also when a customer chooses the on-premise systems. So these systems are kept on-premise. And the non-core applications such as Ariba or SuccessFactors or Concur, etc., they would like to keep it on cloud, and they don't want too much customizations. They just want to use a standard functionality out of the box, which is provided by SAP, and that's why they go for the SaaS model in these non-core applications. And they don't have to do much, they just have to subscribe, and then they can use the standard functionality out of the box without any installation cost, without any upgrade hassles, and completely on the cloud. Alright, so that brings us to almost the end of the presentation. So I just wanted to summarize the information we discussed. So in a nutshell, this is the table which gives us the comparison and the salient points. So we have the on-premise, meaning everything is taken care of by the customer. We have the IaaS, infrastructure as a service. One example from SAP is HEC, HANA Enterprise Cloud. The PaaS, platform as a service. A very popular example is SAP Cloud Platform. And then we have the SaaS, software as a service, which is Ariba, SuccessFactors, and others. And also we looked at the hybrid model where some of the mission critical core applications are kept on-premise and the other ones are kept cloud to leverage all the cloud benefits. Well, cost-wise, of course, on-premise will be the highest and the SaaS will be the lowest. But again, we have the IaaS and PaaS for the different requirements. SaaS is the least in terms of control. The complete control is with the vendors, the cloud providers, whereas the on-premise, we have the full control with the customers. Scalability-wise, the more you go on the cloud, the better scalability options you will receive. The on-premise systems also can be scalable, but it is comparatively difficult. And then we have the disaster recovery setup. Of course, the more cloud you go, the better it is, the easier it is. And the on-premise, you will have to take care of everything. So based on the requirements from the customers, different options suit well for different customers. And once you know what options or what features you will get under these different umbrellas, you can decide better. And the last piece I would like to conclude this presentation with is the nature of the cloud, public versus private versus hybrid. Let's look at that. So public cloud, what is it? Well, public cloud is a home with different tenants. So basically it's one shared resource pool which is shared by different customers, also known as tenants. The payment is subscription based, pay as per the usage, and the cloud resource management, that means the control of the administration or the upgrades or the customization, is completely with the cloud providers. So more control is with the vendor, less with the customers. Some popular applications for public cloud are email, CRM, HR, and collaboration. Then we have the private cloud, meaning single tenant cloud, one customer. Again, it is subscription based, pay per usage, but the difference is that there is more control to the customizations, administration, monitoring, and other features with the customer. And customers, based on their needs, can tweak this compared to the public cloud. So that's the advantage. And the popular applications of private clouds are ERP, supply chain, R&D, sales and distribution, etc. So as you can see that these are the core applications for an enterprise, and they would like to keep these core on the private cloud if they have to choose a cloud option because of its flexibility of modifications and customizations. And then we have the combination of the two, private plus public cloud, which is known as hybrid cloud. What is the benefit? Scalability. So you can deploy an application on your private cloud to start with, and then if the demand increases, you can expand it to the public cloud where scalability is easily done. This also gives you the ability to create new applications with unprecedented or dynamic, uncertain demands. You don't know what kind of demands will come in, and based on the actual demands, you can expand that to the public cloud. So these are the options, or these are the nature of the cloud, and based on again the different needs from customers, they have to choose accordingly. Alright guys, thank you so much for listening. I hope it helped you clarify the terminologies, the meaning of the terminologies and the concepts, and I hope it will help you choose the right option for you or your customer. So if you like this video, please give me a like and subscribe to my channel for regular updates, and I'll see you in the next one.